My family discussed cutting me off for good while I was in the next room, so I packed quietly and now they're panicking because I took something they desperately need. We can't keep going without your love. Hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling us your location. We'd love to know where our stories reach. I was standing in the hallway outside Mama's bedroom, holding a stack of clean towels I'd just folded when I heard my name. Not the loving way she used to say it when I was little, but sharp and dismissive. Through the crack in the door, I could see her sitting on the bed with my older sister Linda and my Aunt Lorraine. The three of them heads together like conspirators. "Janae ain't contributing nothing to this household," Mama said, her voice cold as winter rain. "She just here taking up space, eating our food, using our electricity." I froze. The towels felt heavy in my arms suddenly, like they weighed 100 pounds each. Linda laughed, that cruel little chuckle she'd perfected over the years. "I've been telling you, Mama. She's 26 years old and still acting like a child. No real job, no ambition. Just sitting around writing in them notebooks like that's gonna pay bills." My throat tightened. I'd been working 3 part-time jobs while finishing my degree online, but to them, if it wasn't a 9-to-5 in an office, it didn't count. "We need to cut her off for good," Aunt Lorraine added, her voice dripping with satisfaction. "Pack her stuff, put it out, change the locks. She's been a burden long enough. Besides, with her out, we could turn that room into something useful. Maybe rent it out for some actual income." The towels slipped from my hands, landing silently on the carpeted floor. My heart hammered against my ribs. 26 years of loyalty, of sacrifice, of being the good daughter, and this was how they saw me. A burden to eliminate. I stepped back from the door, my mind racing through memories I'd tried to bury. It had always been like this, hadn't it? Linda was 3 years older, beautiful, and everything I wasn't. She dropped out of college twice, wrecked 2 cars Mama bought her, and couldn't hold a job for more than 6 months. But somehow she was still the golden child. Me. I'd gotten straight A's, paid my own way through community college, and never asked for anything. When Daddy died 5 years ago, I was the one who held Mama's hand through the funeral arrangements. I was the one who sat with her during those long nights when grief threatened to swallow her whole. "Remember when Alex left her?" Linda was saying now, and I could hear the smile in her voice. "Janae came crying to Mama like a little baby. Girl couldn't even keep a man. My ex-fiancé. The wound was still fresh, only 8 months old. Alex had left me for a woman with a trust fund, someone who could give him the lifestyle he wanted. I'd worked 2 jobs to help pay for our apartment while he found himself as an aspiring musician. The betrayal had nearly broken me." "That's because she's weak," Mama said, and something inside me cracked. "Always has been. Not like you, baby. You got that strength, that backbone. Janae's too soft for this world." I'd been soft with them. Accommodating. And they'd mistaken my kindness for weakness. Speaking of Janae, Aunt Lorraine's voice dropped lower and I pressed closer to the door. "Y'all told her yet about the property papers?" My blood ran cold. "Property papers?" "Not yet," Mama said. "No point in telling her until after we get them transferred. The lawyer said we need her signature by next Friday, but once we explain it's just updating the documents after her daddy's death, she'll sign. She always does what she's told." The beach house. They were talking about Daddy's beach house in Myrtle Beach. The one he'd left to me in his will, the only thing he'd ever put solely in my name. I remembered the day he'd told me 3 months before the cancer took him. "This is yours, baby girl," he'd said, holding my hand in his hospital bed. "Your Mama and Linda, they got the main house, the cars, the savings. But this place, this is your security. Don't let nobody take it from you, you hear me? Not even family. Especially not family." I'd visited the property once after his funeral. A beautiful 3-bedroom cottage 2 blocks from the ocean, fully paid off, currently rented to a family for $3,000 a month. That money went into a separate account. My security, my future, my escape plan that I'd never thought I'd need. Till now. She won't suspect nothing, Linda said confidently. Janae's too trusting. Always has been. We'll tell her it's just paperwork, get her signature and boom. We can sell that property and split the money. Mama can finally take that trip to Dubai she's been wanting. Mama laughed. With my baby girl Linda, just the two of us. We deserve it. The towels were still at my feet. My hands were shaking. I carefully picked up the towels and walked to my bedroom, closing the door with a soft click. My room was small, the smallest in the house, barely big enough for a twin bed and a desk. The walls were covered with rejection letters from publishers, mixed with a few acceptance letters from literary magazines. My notebooks were stacked neatly on the desk. 5 years of work, 3 completed novels, dozens of short stories. They'd mocked those notebooks, called them a waste of time. But those notebooks had taught me something valuable. How to read people, how to understand motivation, how to see the story behind the story. And right now the story was crystal clear. I opened my laptop and pulled up my bank account. The rental income from the beach house had been depositing automatically for 3 years. With careful saving and my part-time jobs, I had $42,000. Not a fortune, but enough. Enough to disappear. Enough to start over. My phone buzzed. A text from my friend Simone. Girl, you still coming to ATL next month? Found you a cheap sublet in my building. 2-bedroom, $950. I'd mentioned maybe visiting Atlanta, maybe trying to find editorial work there. Simone had been my roommate in community college, the only person who'd believed in my writing. She'd moved to Atlanta 2 years ago and had been begging me to follow. I texted back, "Can I come this weekend instead?" 3 dots appeared. Then, what? Yes. But what happened? I'll explain when I get there. I need to stay quiet about this though. Don't post anything on social media, okay? Say less. I got you. I waited until 11 p.m. when the house was quiet. Mama and Linda had gone out to some event. They were always going somewhere, spending money they didn't have, putting on appearances. Aunt Lorraine had left hours ago. I had the house to myself. First, I called the property management company in Myrtle Beach. "Hi, this is Janae Morrison. I need to discuss the lease on my property." The manager, Mrs. Wilson, picked up on the second ring. "Oh, hello, Janae. How are you? The Hendersons have been wonderful tenants. Just renewed their lease for another year." "That's great," I said, my voice steady despite my racing heart. "I need to ask something important. Has anyone else contacted you about this property? Anyone claiming to be family or saying they have authority over it?" There was a pause. "Actually, yes. A woman called last week claiming to be your mother. She said she needed access to the rental income because you were having mental health issues and couldn't manage your affairs. I told her I could only discuss the property with you as you're the sole owner. She got quite upset." My stomach turned. They'd been planning this for weeks, maybe months. "Mrs. Wilson, I need to make some changes. First, I want to add a password to my account. No one can get information without that password, not even someone claiming to be family. Second, I need to change the bank account the rent deposits into. Of course. And Janae? I've been doing this for 20 years. I've seen families do terrible things to each other over property. Whatever you're going through, protect yourself first. Your father was a good man. He chose to leave this to you for a reason." After securing the beach house, I went through the filing cabinet in Daddy's old office. Mama had claimed this room as her meditation space after he died, but she never actually used it. The filing cabinet was buried under yoga mats and vision boards about manifestation and abundance. I found what I was looking for in the third drawer. Daddy's will, the property deed, and something I hadn't seen before. A letter addressed to me, dated 2 weeks before his death. My hands trembled as I opened it. My dear Janae, if you're reading this, I'm gone, and I suspect your mama and sister are showing their true colors. I've known for a long time what they are, baby girl. I tried to shield you from it, but I also tried to prepare you. That beach house is yours free and clear. I put it only in your name because I knew what would happen if I didn't. Your mama, she's always loved money and status more than sense. And Linda, she learned it from her. But you got my heart. You got my love for stories, for truth, for seeing people as they really are. I set up something else for you too. A trust fund. It's not much, just $50,000, but it's yours when you turn 27 or when you move out permanently, whichever comes first. The lawyer's name is Bernard Matthews. He has the details. Be smart, baby. Family is supposed to be your safe place, but sometimes the people who share your blood are the ones who'll cut you deepest. Don't let them. You deserve better. Love always, Daddy. I read it 3 times, tears streaming down my face. He'd known. He'd known and tried to protect me even from beyond the grave. I spent the next 2 hours methodically documenting everything. I photographed Daddy's letter, the will, the property deed. I logged into Mama's laptop. Password was Linda's birthday, of course, and found the email chain with their lawyer about transferring property from an incompetent heir. The lawyer had actually pushed back. Mrs. Morrison, your daughter would need to be declared mentally unfit by a court for this to work. Simply getting her signature under false pretenses could be considered fraud. Mama's response made my blood boil. She won't know the difference. Janae trusts me. Just draw up papers that look official. She'll sign whatever I put in front of her. I screenshot everything and emailed it to myself, then to Simone, then uploaded it to a cloud drive. I wasn't taking any chances. In Linda's room, yes, I went through her stuff. I found a Pinterest board titled, Beach House Renovation. She'd been planning how to redecorate my property. There were boards for expensive furniture, plans to turn it into a vacation rental they'd manage, calculations about how much they could make if they renovated and charged higher rent. She'd even picked out bathroom tiles. $700 a box. The audacity was breathtaking. But it was also damning evidence. In Mama's nightstand, I found something worse. A fake lease agreement claiming the beach house had been sold, with a forged signature that was supposed to be mine. They'd been planning to show me this, claim the property was already sold, and pressure me to sign the transfer papers, to make it legal. I photographed it all. Thursday morning, Mama called me into the kitchen. She was wearing her church clothes even though it wasn't Sunday. That's how I knew something was happening. Mama always dressed up when she wanted to feel powerful. Sit down, baby, she said, her voice honey-sweet. We need to talk about some important papers. Linda was there too, looking smug in a designer dress I knew she couldn't afford. Aunt Lorraine sat at the head of the table like she owned the place. Now, you know we've been handling your daddy's estate, Mama began, sliding a folder across the table. There's just some final documents that need your signature. Nothing major, just updating everything with the county. I opened the folder. The documents looked official, stamped, notarized, everything. But I'd learned to read contracts from Daddy. He'd always said, read what you sign, baby girl. Always. These weren't update forms. These were transfer documents. Sign here, and the beach house would be deeded to the Morrison Family Trust. A trust I'd never heard of, one that listed Mama and Linda as trustees and sole beneficiaries. What's the Morrison Family Trust? I asked, my voice carefully neutral. Mama waved her hand dismissively. Oh, just something our lawyer set up to protect family assets. Tax purposes, you know. Very normal. Your daddy would have wanted this. Daddy left the beach house to me specifically, I said quietly. Just me. It's in his will. Linda leaned forward. Girl, don't be selfish. That property belongs to all of us. Daddy just put your name on it because you were his baby, but he meant for us to share it. Then why didn't his will say that? The room went silent. Mama's sweet expression cracked slightly. Janae, don't be difficult, Aunt Lorraine interjected. You living here rent-free, eating our food, using our resources. Least you can do is help the family. And there was the breaking point. Our resources? I said, standing up. I've paid you $1,500 a month in rent for 3 years. I buy my own groceries because y'all eat everything I purchase. I paid to fix the roof last year when you said you couldn't afford it. I've given this family everything, and you sit here calling me a burden? Mama's face went hard. Watch your tone. No, I said, and the word felt like freedom. I heard you. Tuesday night when you thought I wasn't listening. Every word. Linda's face went pale. Janae. Cut me off for good? Pack my stuff? Change the locks? I heard all of it. And I heard your plan to trick me into signing away the one thing Daddy left specifically to me. You were eavesdropping. Mama stood up, her voice rising. I was bringing you towels. You were plotting against your own daughter in the middle of the afternoon. The kitchen erupted. Linda was yelling that I was being dramatic. Mama was saying I'd misunderstood. Aunt Lorraine was calling me ungrateful. But I'd found my voice and I wasn't stopping. I called Mrs. Wilson, I said, and the room went dead silent. The property manager. She told me you tried to claim I was mentally incompetent. You tried to steal my rental income. Mama's face flushed red. That property should support this family. It supports me. It's mine. Daddy left it to me because he knew exactly what you are. I was shaking now, years of suppressed anger finally breaking free. I found his letter. The one he wrote before he died. He knew you'd do this. He warned me. What letter? Linda demanded. I pulled it from my pocket. I'd been carrying it since I found it and read it aloud. Every word. When I got to the part about the trust fund, Mama actually gasped. There's money, she whispered. Bernard Matthews has money for you? $50,000. That Daddy left to me. Not you. Not Linda. Me. The look on their faces was something I'd never forget. Not guilt. Not shame. Just raw, ugly greed. That money belongs to this family, Aunt Lorraine said. Your mama raised you, fed you, clothed you. You owe her. I owe her nothing. She's been collecting my rent for 3 years. That's $54,000. Plus the roof repair, $8,000. Plus the times I paid the electric bill, the water bill, bought groceries. I've given this family over $70,000 in 3 years. I pulled out my phone and showed them the spreadsheet I'd made at 3 a.m. Every payment, every receipt, every contribution. Mama's face went white. I kept records, I said softly. Every single transaction. Because Daddy taught me to. I didn't give them time to regroup. I walked to my room and pulled out the suitcases I'd already packed. 3 of them, everything I couldn't live without. My clothes, my notebooks, my laptop, Daddy's photos, the jewelry Grandma had left me. I'd shipped boxes to Simone's place 2 days ago. Books, winter clothes, things I didn't need immediately. The room looked bare already. What do you think you're doing? Mama had followed me, her voice shrill. Leaving. Like you wanted. You can't just leave. You have responsibilities here. I laughed, a sound without humor. Like what? Being your verbal punching bag? Your ATM? Watching you favor Linda while treating me like trash. I never treated you like trash. But her eyes couldn't meet mine. You told Aunt Lorraine I was weak. You said I was a burden. You were literally planning to commit fraud to steal from me. I zipped the last suitcase. Oh, and I documented everything. The emails with your lawyer. The fake documents. Linda's renovation plans for my property. All of it. Linda appeared in the doorway. You wouldn't. Wouldn't what? Report you? You're right, I probably won't. Because I'm weak, remember? Soft. Too gentle for this world. I looked at both of them. But I did send everything to my own lawyer. And if you try to come after me, if you try to contest Daddy's will or claim any right to what's mine, it all becomes evidence. Janae, baby, let's talk about this. Mama's voice shifted to pleading. We're family. Family works things out. Family doesn't plot to rob each other. Family doesn't call each other burdens. Family doesn't lie and manipulate and scheme. I picked up 2 suitcases. I'm done being your family. Where will you even go? Linda tried to sound mocking, but there was panic in her eyes. Somewhere you're not. I was loading my car, Daddy's old Honda that I'd been maintaining with my own money, when Mama ran out of the house. She was crying, makeup running down her face. Please, baby, don't do this. What about the house payment? I paused, one hand on the car door. What about it? The mortgage is due next week. The payment is $3,000. I need the mortgage. I stared at her. This house is paid off. Daddy paid it off before he died. Mama's face crumbled. I took out a loan. Against the house. For renovations. What renovations? Nothing's been renovated. She couldn't answer. He didn't have to. I understood. Designer clothes for Linda. Mama's new car. Fancy dinners. Trips. They'd burned through Daddy's life insurance and had started borrowing against the house. How much do you owe? I asked. $850,000. The payment is $3,000 a month and we're already behind. If we miss another payment, they start foreclosure proceedings. This was why they needed the beach house. Not just greed, desperation. They'd spent themselves into a hole and needed my property to climb out. You've been collecting my rent, I said coldly. That's $18,000 a year. What did you do with it? No answer. Just more crying. Linda came out then, her mask completely dropped. You selfish bitch. You'd really let us lose this house? Daddy's house. Daddy's paid-off house that Mama mortgaged for purses and cars? I got in the driver's seat. Yeah, I really would. Maybe it'll teach you what consequences feel like. We'll contest the will. Linda shouted. We'll sue you for that trust fund. Try it. I've got Daddy's letter stating his exact intentions. I've got 3 years of financial records showing I contributed to this household. I've got evidence of your fraud attempts. I started the engine. But most importantly, I've got Bernard Matthews as my lawyer now. I called him yesterday. He's very interested in the forged documents I found. Mama grabbed my car door. Please, Janae. I'm your mother. You were never my mother, I said and pulled away. I spent the first week in Atlanta in a daze. Simone's apartment was small but peaceful. No shouting. No passive-aggressive comments. No one calling me weak while stealing from me. The silence was healing. Bernard Matthews turned out to be a sharp, no-nonsense lawyer in his 60s who genuinely loved my father. Your daddy was my best friend, he told me in our first meeting. He knew what was coming. That's why he was so careful with his will. Why didn't he tell me about any of this? He hoped he was wrong. Hoped your mama would surprise him. Bernard slid a check across his desk. Your trust fund. As of last month, you're 27. It's yours. $50,000. Freedom in paper form. There's more, Bernard continued. Your father had a life insurance policy separate from the one your mother claimed. A small one, $25,000, with you as the sole beneficiary. He set it up 6 months before he died and never told anyone. I started crying. Even in death, Daddy was taking care of me. Bernard handed me tissues. Your mama's been calling. They want to negotiate. No. Good. Because I looked into that mortgage. Your mother borrowed against a house she doesn't solely own. Your father's will left the house to both of you, 50% each. She needed your signature to take out that loan. My head snapped up. She forged my signature? Appears so. The bank is investigating. If it's confirmed as fraud, they might have grounds to nullify the loan, but your mother would face criminal charges. The karma was almost too perfect. What do you want to do? Bernard asked gently. I thought about it. Really thought about it. Nothing. Let the process play out. I'm not pressing charges, but I'm not saving her either. 3 months later, I was sitting in a cafe in downtown Atlanta, laptop open, working on a new novel. My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Please call me. It's important. Mama. I blocked the number. It was the 6th one she'd tried. Simone slid into the seat across from me, carrying coffees. Still bothering you? Always. I took the cup gratefully. House went into foreclosure. They're fighting it, but Bernard says they'll lose. Good. Simone had no sympathy for them. She'd watched me work myself to exhaustion for years trying to please the unpleasable. My phone buzzed again. This time it was a call from my editor at the small press that had bought my novel. Janae. Amazing news. A major publisher wants to buy the rights. They're talking 6 figures for a 3-book deal. I almost dropped my phone. What? After the call ended, after I'd agreed to everything in a daze, Simone was grinning. Girl, your life is a whole movie. She wasn't wrong. I'd escaped. Started over. Found success. The girl they'd called weak and soft had walked away from everything and built something better. That night, I allowed myself one moment of weakness. I called the last number Mama had tried. She answered on the first ring. Janae? Baby, thank God. I'm not coming back. I'm not giving you money. I'm not signing anything. This is a courtesy call to tell you I'm done. But we're family. No, I said firmly. Family protects each other. Family lifts each other up. You wanted to cut me off for good. Congratulations. You succeeded. I hung up and blocked that number too. Later, lying in my own apartment, the 1-bedroom I'd just leased with my advance money, I thought about Daddy's letter. He'd known I'd need to hear that I deserved better. That I wasn't weak for wanting love and loyalty. That leaving didn't make me the villain. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from people who see you as a resource instead of a daughter. Sometimes self-preservation looks like selfishness to people who benefited from your self-sacrifice. I was 27, finally free, with a career taking off and a future that belonged only to me. The family who'd tried to cut me off had instead cut themselves out of my success, my life, my happiness. And I'd never felt stronger.